Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to my YouTube channel Geeky Math. Today I am going to share solution of physics grade 9th Cantab publisher. Chapter number 6, topic torque and stability. Multiple choice question. The first question is, if you have two unlike parallel forces both with magnitude of 25 newtons acting in opposite directions, what is the net force? नेट फोर्स यहाँ पर हमने कैलकुलेट करनी है. When two forces are equal in magnitude but act in opposite directions, they cancel each other out. This means the net force is 0. जब मैग्नीट्यूड सेम होगा दोनों फोर्सेस का बट डायरेक्शन अपोजिट होगी तो वो कैंसिल आउट हो जाएंगी और नेट फोर्स 0 के इक्वल होगी, 0 न्यूटन्स. The second question is, what is the primary objective of the experiment to verify the principle of moments? To measure the weight of object, that is first option. Second option is to observe how objects move. Third option is to confirm that the total clockwise movement equals the total anti-clockwise movement in equilibrium. Fourth option is to calculate the velocity of object. The correct option is C, to confirm that the total clockwise moment equals to the total anti-clockwise moment in equilibrium. Let's see its explanation. The principle of moments states that for a system to be in equilibrium, the sum of the clockwise moments about a point but must equal the sum of the anti-clockwise moments about the same point. The primary objective of the experiment is to verify the principle by demonstrating that when the moments are balanced, the system remains stationary. इस प्रिंसिपल को वेरीफाई करने का प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव ये है कि मोमेंट्स बैलेंस्ड होनी चाहिए. मींस क्लॉकवाइज मोमेंट एंड एंटी क्लॉकवाइज मोमेंट सेम होंगी तो सिस्टम स्टेशनरी रहेगा. द थर्ड क्वेश्चन इज, हाउ इज़ द सेंटर ऑफ ग्रेविटी ऑफ अ प्लेन lamina found using a plumb line? Distance between 2 points on the lamina. Option B is by observing the angle at which the lamina hangs. Option C is by marking the direction of the plumb line on the lamina and finding the intersection of two such lines. Option D is by weighing the lamina at different points. So correct option is option C, by marking the direction of the plumb line on the lamina and finding the intersection of two such lines. So the explanation of question 3 is, a plumb line always points directly towards due to the force of gravity. By suspending a lamina from different points and marking the direction of plumb line each time, the intersection of these lines will indicate the center of gravity, which is point where the weight of the lamina seems to act. Question 4 is, why can the center of gravity be different from center of mass in some cases? So the first option is because center of gravity is always the geometric center of the object. Option B is because center of mass depends on mass distribution while center of gravity depends on both mass and the gravitational field. Option C is because center of gravity is used in rotational motion and center of mass is used in linear motion. Option 4 is because they are always the same, there is no difference. So the correct option is because center of mass depends on mass distribution while center of gravity depends on both mass and the gravitational field. Its explanation is the center of mass is a point within an object where the mass is evenly distributed. It depends solely on the object's mass distribution. The center of gravity, on the other hand, is the point where the weight of an object can be considered to act. It depends on both the mass distribution and the gravitational field acting on the object. In a uniform gravitational field, the center of gravity and center of mass coincide. However, in a non uniform gravitational field, they can be different. Question number 5 is, how can the stability of an object be improved? Option A is by increasing the height of the center of mass. Option B is by decreasing the base area of the object. Option C is by lowering the center of mass and increase the base area. Option D is by adding more weight to the top of the object. So the correct option is C, by lowering the center of mass and increase the base area. Explanation of this question is, the stability of an object is increased when its center of mass is lowered and its base area is increased. This is because a lower center of mass makes it harder for the object to tip over, and a larger base area provides a wider support base. What happens to the stability of an object if its center of gravity is located outside its base of support? Option A is the stability increases. Option B is the stability decreases. Option C is the stability remains the same. Option D is the object becomes weightless. So the correct option is the stability decreases. Explanation: if the center of the gravity of an object is located outside its base of support, the object is in an unstable equilibrium. This means that a small disturbance can cause the object to tip over. Question number 7 is, when stacking objects, how does the stability change as you add more objects, assuming the center of gravity remains constant? Option A is the stability increases with more objects. Option B is stability decreases with more objects. Option C is stability remains constant with more objects. Option D is it depends on the shape of the object. So the correct option is stability increases with more objects. Explanation is, when stacking objects, the stability generally increases as you add more objects, assuming the center of gravity remains constant. This is because the base area of the stack increases, providing a wider support base. Question 8 is, how does stability physics plays a vital role in engineering technology like racing cars? Option A is by making cars heavier for better traction. Option B is by designing cars with a high center of mass for agility. Option C is by optimizing the weight distribution and center of gravity to enhance cornering stability. Option D is by increasing the base area of cars to improve speed. So the correct option is option C, by optimizing the weight distribution and center of gravity to enhance cornering stability. Explanation: in racing cars, stability physics is crucial for achieving high cornering speeds without losing control. By optimizing the weight distribution and lowering the center of gravity, racing cars can maintain better balance and stability during turns, allowing them to negotiate corners at higher speeds. Question number 9. Why is Understanding stability physics essential when designing balancing toys. Option A is to make the toys more beautiful. Option B is to ensure the toys are lightweight. Option C is to achieve equilibrium and prevent the toys from falling over. Option D is to add more features to the toys. So the correct option is to achieve equilibrium and prevent the toys from falling over. Explanation. Stability physics is fundamental in designing balancing toys. By understanding the principle of stability, designers can create toys that are balanced and resist tipping over. This ensures that the toys are fun and engaging to play with. Question number 10 is, when does a rotating body begins to accelerate or decelerate in its rotational motion? Option A is when it changes shape. Option B is when it changes its axis of rotation. Option C is when acted upon by a resultant movement. Option D is when it becomes lighter. So the correct option is when acted upon by a resultant movement. Explanation. According to Newton's second law of rotation, a rotating body will accelerate or decelerate in its rotational motion only when a net moment or torque acts on it. Question number 11. What can be concluded about the rotational motion of a perfectly balanced wheel in the absence of external force or moments? Option A is it will accelerate indefinitely. Option B is it will decelerate and eventually stop. Option C is it will continue to rotate at a constant rate. Option D is it will rotate erratically. So the correct option is C. It will continue to rotate at a constant rate. Explanation is, in the absence of external forces or moments, a perfectly balanced wheel will continue to rotate at a constant rate due to principle of conservation of angular momentum. This principle states that total angular momentum of a system remains constant unless acted upon by an external torque. Question number 12 is, in a circular motion, what is the direction of the centripetal force with respect to the motion of the object? Option A is opposite to the motion. Option B is tangential to the motion. Option C is perpendicular to the motion towards the center of the circle. Option D is parallel to the motion. So the correct option is perpendicular to the motion towards the center of the circle. Explanation. Centripetal force is a force that acts towards the center of a circle, causing an object to move in circular path. Therefore, its direction is always perpendicular to the object's motion. Question number 13. What would happen to an object in circular motion if the centripetal force were suddenly removed? Option A, it would continue moving in the same circle. Option B, it would slow down and stop. Option C, it would move in a straight line. Option D, it would reverse its direction of motion. So the correct option is C, it would move in a straight line. Explanation. Centripetal force is responsible for keeping an object moving in a circular path. If this force were suddenly removed, the object would continue to move in the direction it was traveling at the moment, which would be in a straight line, tangent to the circle. What is the r in the orbital speed equation? V equals to 2 pi r divided by t, that's time period, stand for? Option A, orbital radius. option B velocity, option C vector, option D variable. So the correct option is option A orbital radius. Explanation: in the equation 2 pi v equals to 2 pi r divided by t, r represents the orbital radius, which is the distance between the satellite and the center of the orbit. Question number 15. If a satellite orbits Earth at a radius of 10,000 km and completes an orbit in 5 hours, what is its average orbital speed? Option A is 1256 km per hour. Option B is 3141 km per hour. Option C is 6283 km per hour. Option D is 1570 km per hour. So the correct option is A 1256 km per hour. Let's see its explanation. So calculate its orbital speed by using formula V equals to 2 pi r divided by t. Now plugging in the values, V equals to 2 pi multiplied by 10,000 km by 5 hours. So multiplying these values and then dividing by 5, you get 1256 by rounding to the nearest whole number. Next, move to the next question. Question number 16. The diagram shows the forces acting on 4 identical solid blocks. Each arrow represents a force of 20 N. Which blocks are in equilibrium? You can see this diagram on your book. So the option A is P and R only. Option B is Q and S only. Option C is P, Q and R only. Option D is P, Q, R and S. So the correct option is option D, P, Q, R and S. A block is in equilibrium when the net force acting on it is 0. In all 4 diagrams, the forces acting on the blocks are balanced, meaning that the upward forces equal the downward forces. Therefore, all 4 blocks are in equilibrium. Question number 1. Describe the concept of the moment of a force and its significance in rotational motion. Provide examples of situations where understanding the moment of a force is crucial. Answer. The moment of a force, also known as torque, is a measure of the force's ability to produce rotation around a fixed point. It depends on the magnitude of the force and its perpendicular distance from the pivot point. Significance in rotational motion. First definition: direction of rotation. The moment of a force determines the direction in which an object will rotate. Angular acceleration. The magnitude of the moment of a force determines the angular acceleration of an object. Equilibrium. For an object to be in rotational equilibrium, the sum of the moments of all forces acting on it must be 0. Examples: opening a door. The handle is placed far from the hinges to increase the moment of the force, making it easier to open. Tightening a bolt. The wrench is applied at a distance from the bolt to increase the moment of the force, making it easier to tighten. Balancing a seesaw. The weight of each person and their distance from the fulcrum determines the moments of their forces. The seesaw is balanced when the moments are equal. Question number 2. Explain centripetal force and also discuss some sources of these forces. Answer. Centripetal force is a force that acts towards the center of a circular path, causing an object to move in a circular motion. This force is necessary to change the direction of the object's velocity, even though its speed remains constant. Sources of centripetal force. Tension. In the case of a ball on a string, the tension in the string provides the centripetal force, pulling the ball towards the center of its circular path. Gravity. For objects orbiting a larger body like the Earth around the Sun, gravity provides the centripetal force, pulling the smaller object towards the center of the larger object's mass. Electrostatic force. In the case of charged particles moving in a magnetic field, the electrostatic force between the charged particles and the field provides the centripetal force, causing the particles to move in a circular path. Friction. For a car turning a corner, friction between the tires and the road provides the centripetal force, preventing the car from sliding off the road. In essence, any force that can act towards the center of a circular path can provide a centripetal force, causing an object to move in a circular motion. Now let's see its numerical. Question number 1. A wrench is used to loosen a bolt. If the applied force is 40 N and the wrench is 0.2 meter long, calculate the moment of the force. To calculate the moment of the force, we use the following formula. Moment of force equals to force into distance from the pivot point. In this case, force is 40 N and the distance from the pivot point, the bolt, is 0.2 meters. Therefore, the moment of the force is moment of force equals to 40 N into 0.2 meter, which is equals to 8 Newton meter. So the moment of the force applied to the wrench is 8 Newton meter. Please like my video to motivate me. Let me know in the comment section which type of content you want regarding physics and maths. Don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe my channel as well. Thank you.